Your first bold prediction, or one of your two, is that Syracuse wins 9 or more games and competes for the ACC championship. How about you explain that one to me?
Right. So I think the big headliner that most people know if you're in this if you really pay attention here is Kyle McCord transferring out, and I hate the hate that he gets. Kyle McCord was a pretty darn good quarterback for Ohio State. Not good enough for Ohio State's lofty standards, and couldn't beat Michigan. But he was good for 11 games out of the year, and he transfers to Syracuse. But that wasn't the only name that they brought in. They brought in players such as Yazid Hines from Georgia. He was a 4-star interior offensive lineman. Joshua Miller, also from Georgia, and corner Marcus Washington, not the Nebraska wide receiver, but 4-star from Louisville, a corner. So it's not like Kyle McCord was their only guy that they got. They got multiple guys to help out this team. And one of the main drivers to this pick to win 9 games is that you look at their schedule. I cannot find many losses on the schedule at all. I'll quickly read it out here. They start at home versus Ohio, at home versus Georgia Tech, versus Stanford, versus Holy Cross, at UNLV. So right there, you can't. I try to find losses here. It's hard. Then they play at NC State. That's going to be a tough game. At Pitt, that's going to be a tougher game. They get Virginia Tech at home, at Boston College, at Cal, versus UConn, versus Miami. Out of those names, I can really find. I mean, Miami right there. That's probably going to be a loss with the transfers that they got, that Miami got, and I can't find too many losses. NC State and Virginia, I think they probably split those two, and then Pitt's going to be a wild card. Excuse me. But past that, I can't find losses on this schedule, man. And plus, the additions that they made make me more confident in them to win these lower to mid games in like Georgia Tech or Boston College. That getting a player like Kyle McCord who's played in big games. I mean, he didn't play the best against Notre Dame last year, but he pulled out a win. So he's been in these big time situations on national TV. So at least Syracuse is going to be a step down for him. So I think that Syracuse is going to get to 9 wins, and by default, going to be in that top echelon. Now, are they going to, well, top echelon for the ACC title game? Now, are they going to be as good as some of those top teams like Florida State, Miami, Clemson, North Carolina? No. But by default, by having 8, 9 wins, I think they're going to be right there with them.
Yeah, they'll be like Louisville last year. Weak
Exactly.
schedule, especially weak conference schedule, because they had Notre Dame to their credit. Syracuse doesn't have a team that even looks to be as good as Notre
Right.
Dame last year. I look at the schedule and Georgia Tech at NC State, Virginia Tech, Miami, maybe at Cal, and maybe at UNLV, but that's still like 6 automatic wins in my mind, and they'll probably come close to splitting all the games that I mentioned. They also, ironically enough, they brought back one of their former players. I think corner Deuce Chestnut went to LSU last year, and then after getting injured and that whole defense looking like
Uh
garbage,
huh.
he's coming back.
Right.
So
Okay.
they have like a lot of SEC and Big Ten transfers, particularly SEC, because Fran Brown, their head coach, was one of the key and best assistants at Georgia. And then he brought Elijah Robinson, Texas A&M's former D-line coach, who's a ridiculously good recruiter, along with him. I researched their staff. It's impressive. It's impressive for a Syracuse staff, for an ACC
Yeah,
staff.
exactly. I didn't. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. All I was saying is I like this pick. I don't exactly agree with it, but I don't think it's as bold as many people will think.
I mean, it's not the boldest out there, but it's still a bold pick. Um, like you said, I mean, I didn't know too much about Syracuse really until they got Kyle McCord, and then once you start to research what they have, I mean, you mentioned the coaching staff and these other players that they got, and it's hard to really not like them except for last year, where they didn't perform great, granted. But you look at their schedule, with the players they got, I think I think it's reasonable, a reasonable bold prediction.
Yeah, and they have a good running back too, and I think LeQuinton Allen nearly ran
Oh
for
yeah,
1,000 yards last year as a younger player. So they have some skill talent at running back, QB. They have some defensive players. They have some trench players too. They could just be 6-6, or they could win double digit games given that schedule and if everything is put together. I'd list this like on a like let's say 1 to 5 scale. I think it's just simpler than 1 to 10 because I think 1 to 10 with all these predictions can kind of get a little like inconsistent. On a 1 to 5 scale, I'd probably list this as like a 3 or even like a 2.5. 1 is
you mean
like not bold at
okay?
all. 2 is like a little warm. 3 is probably modestly bold. 5 would just be outrageous. 5 would be like
Yeah,
picking Ohio State to go like 8-4
yeah,
is
yeah.
what that would be like.
I'd say this pick is probably about a 2.5, 2.7, something like that. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching this episode of College Football with Sam. I appreciate it. And I would appreciate it even more if you were to hit that like button, comment your thoughts on this video down below, hit that big red subscribe button, and also click that notification bell so that your phone, laptop, or whatever device you use can ding or buzz whenever I release new content and notify you about it so that you can watch more videos like this. College Football with Sam is the best Big Ten football channel on YouTube. We're going to be doing a giveaway when we hit 20,000 subscribers, and we're trying to become one of the best, if not the best, college football channels on YouTube. Your support means so much, and to those of you who are subscribed to my Patreon or purchase merchandise from my store, the links to those are down in the description and pinned comment. Thank you so much. I want to give a shout out to my Patreons. Thanks to Crash2488 for being a Heisman member. Thanks to Spencer Bringhurst, Chris Lane, and Connor Little OH for being All-American members. And thanks to Will Loftus, John Lynn, Roaming Gnome, Matthew Sale, Austin Christmas, and Janisha Cockrell for being All-Conference members. Have a great day, guys. And if you're listening on Spotify or any non-YouTube podcast platform, please check the link in the channel description to find my YouTube channel. And if you're listening on YouTube, feel free to check out my Spotify, if you so please. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.